What's up guys, it's Preach. I am back again and today we're going to be looking at our Survival Hunter. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be playing some good tricks on people. We're going to have loads of fun. What we're going to look at a Survival Hunter for, I know everybody says at the moment, Marksman is the way to go. Marksman's giving us the top amount of damage. For you guys getting into your heroics, early days, I would suggest you go Survival. Survival's going to give you loads of AoE damage, much simpler to play. Basic mechanics are a little bit easier than Marksman. And it's generally a much more fun spec to play to get used to your hunter, get you focused on other things while you're looking around while keeping up a very solid amount of DPS. So today we're going to play Survival. I'm going to have a ton of fun doing it. Let's have a quick look at our hunter. This is Preacho on Sylvanas EU. You can check his armory down in the comments. As you can see, we've got some decent gear on this guy. He's reasonably ZG, Zul'Gurub geared. Still the rules remain the same as our entry level guys, but we're looking at a little slightly higher character this time so we can put out a little bit more interesting damage. We're going to be running a heroic on him. We're going to just check out all different tricks we can do to really buff our damage up. So what have we got here? We've got his item level 355. Nice solid item level. Should be pushing out some decent DPS on this guy. Really looking forward to it. Let's talk about our reforging for the minute. What are our important stats as a hunter to get our survival gear really push forward? Okay, so ranged is where we're looking. We're a ranged class. First things first, as always with your reforging, is your hit. We want to get that 8% hit, don't we? We want to make sure all our spells are hitting all the time. Make sure we're not missing anything. Every bit of DPS counts. Get our hit up to 8%. You're going to be reforging towards that hit. What comes next is a little bit trickier. It's your haste rating. As a survival hunter, you only have a couple of spells that are really going to bash the target that you're going to be using. One of those is Black Arrow, a dot, which is going to tick along, and our explosive shot. Really nice high crit chance on that. We're going to be doing that. So why is haste a little bit trickier and a little bit more important? Well, in between casting those two spells, which have a relatively high cooldown, we've got to wait for our focus bar to regenerate. How do we do that? We use Cobra Shot. Our Cobra Shot is going to be giving us energy. Our focus, whichever you prefer to call it, is going to be giving our focus back. So we need to be putting in Cobra Shots in between, waiting for our Black Arrow and our explosive shot to come back off cooldown. So, why is haste a little bit tricky? Well, we only want to be casting as many Cobra Shots as it takes to have enough energy to be able to use Black Arrow and explosive shot when they're back off cooldown, okay? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, is we want to fire those shots off, drop our focus way down, do 3 or so Cobra Shots, and then they'll be back off cooldown again, and we've got enough energy. More Cobra Shots after that is literally just going to overcap our focus, and we'll have to use something like Arcane Shot, which is much less damage, and we're wasting focus. Much more important, after we've got enough haste to cast just enough Cobra Shots in between those cooldowns to be really then focusing on other things that are buffing our damage, such as crit and mastery. So what haste rating are we aiming for? Round about 700, guys. Once you've got your 700 focus, 700 haste, that gives you the 3 Cobra Shots in between your explosive shot cooldown and your Black Arrow, so make sure you can always fire them. So you'll be doing a rotation, something along the lines of explosive shot, 3 Cobra Shots, explosive shot. Okay, seems very simple, and when Black Arrow is ready, you're going to be firing off your Black Arrow as well. It's going to work out really nicely if you get your 700 haste rating. So when you're reforging, you're looking to get your hit, you're going to be getting your haste up to about 700, and then you're going to look at the other 2 stats, which are your crit and your mastery. What's more important? They're both about the same, okay? Your crit and your mastery are pretty much about the same. Crit being that little bit higher, but not too much, okay? You want to sort of balance that out. It's not a major difference. You want to get as much crit and mastery after you've got your hit cap and your haste cap to really buff it. Our main stat as a hunter, agility. We want agility coming out of our ears, baby. We want agility all over the place. Anywhere we can buff agility is going to give us more and more damage, okay? So we want that agility, we want the crit from it, we want our increased attack power. Everything else is pretty basic on our Survival Hunter. So, let's have a quick look at our gear. Enchant on the gloves, 20 agi. Gem, 40 agi. If we're not getting our 20 agi bonus from our item, we're not even going to consider gemming anything else other than agility. What if we reforge to? We've dropped a little bit of crit, haste, so to say, because remember, we've got to get that 700 haste very, very quickly. 700 haste is not a great deal. Everything tends to come with haste as is. So, once you've got your 700, then you can start to reforge that down a little bit. Get into your other stats. So we've turned a little bit of haste into hit on that item. Moving down, again, agi in the gem slots. Reforged it because we had haste and mastery. We needed to drop our haste just that smidge, so we've turned that into crit, okay? It's all about balancing this haste rate. Once you've got your 700 haste rating, leave it there. Don't go for any more. Get more crit, get more mastery, more damage. Legs the same. As you can see, we've dropped down the haste into a bit more mastery, leaving our crit up there. Very simple stuff, guys. Again, agility enchant on our boots. We don't need to worry about run speed too much as a hunter because we have a lovely, awesome, super powerful spell called Disengage. We can use it anytime. It's just going to fly us back. Really is the most important spell to maintain DPS without having to move a lot. As a survival hunter, we get a buff. You'll see it constantly regenerate on here called sniper training. Whenever we're stood still, we're getting a damage buff, okay? We're getting a lovely damage buff. Increases our damage of our cobra shot by 6%. So we want to be as still as much as possible. So what do? You plan if you have to move. You disengage, which is going to throw you backwards where we want to land so we can instantly stay still again and DPS some more. Very, very easy, guys, okay? Again, items, reforged a little bit of haste off there into hit. All about balancing these stats. We've turned a little bit of mastery into hit. Like I said, crit slightly better than mastery. So if you've got to make the choice, you've got an item with crit and mastery and you're thinking, well, I need a little bit more hit. What am I going to drop? Drop your mastery that little touch, okay? Again, fluid death. Nice, easy, tricky. As you can see, everything here is pretty easy to get. This is like a couple of days farming I did on this guy. Really did. I'm just trying to show a little bit of different gear levels. There's no point in me constantly showing you guys in greens. The rules remain the same. As we said in our Frost DK, 386 item level. The rules remain the same as when you just capped, okay? Again, another item. We're always looking for items with agility on. Don't look for strength or anything like that. If you pick that up, you're a total noob. Don't do it. Just wait for that agi item. You don't want anything other. Just because something's male and it's got intellect on it, that's no good for you. And you want agility items all the way. So we've got a nice trinket there. We've turned the hit. We had too much hit into crit. Crit was our next bonus. We didn't want any more haste. So we turned that into crit. On your bow, you want either the brand new one if you can afford it. It's very expensive. It's going to shoot sheep and all sorts of stuff at your target. In general, go for the Gnomish X-ray scope. Nice little AP buff. Leave the crit and haste alone. That was enough haste for me. Again, all I've done is I've gone through my items and I've tried to balance this. Two-handed weapons are always going to be better for a hunter. Okay, you want a two-handed agi item. You're going to find it generally easy to get because only feral druids really want those as well. So you're not going to struggle to get that. We've put 130 agility on there. It's pretty cheap now. If you get into this sort of ZG, ZA level, you should be having plenty of little bits of cash around and you're getting items that you should be enchanting to the best, okay? Nothing difficult about it at all. Once you get to this sort of level, you're going to be buffing your character because this is pre-raid. It's actually better than tier 11. You should be fine than entry level tier 11. This gear is perfectly fine. You should be getting yourself raid ready if you want to do a raid. So you're going to be enchanting your items proper. What else have we got? We've got the 378 braces just for some valor points. 50 agi enchantment there. There's nothing better out there without going into a full-on endgame heroic raid. 378 item from the vendor. So we're going to spend that little bit of cash putting our 50 agility enchant on our braces, buff that damage up, okay? We've got our two-piece from Justice Points. Again, the reforging dead easy. We've stuck a 15 stats enchant on there, so let's give us another 15 agility. We've seen in our bonus from our sockets, we get a 20 agility bonus. So there's no point in putting anything less than a 20 agi, 20 hit enchant in there, okay? So if we were to put two 40 agi gems in there, we'd actually just lose 20 hit. So we've got the same amount of agility and we've gained 20 hit. All good. Our cape, we've gone for a nice crit enchant. This again is just from the quest, the Thrall quest in Mount Hyjal. Gives us a very high level 365 cape with nice stats on it. Go and do it. Takes 20 minutes. Dead easy. Shoulders again. Hit and crit. All good. 40 agi in there. We don't want a mastery bonus. What's the point? We want more agility, don't we? Still got a blue neck, 346 level, nothing wrong with that at all. And our head is the same. Meta gem, you're going to be getting your 54 agi, 3% crit damage because we have loads of crit. Loads of crit, so we want that 3% crit damage all the time. And we definitely want the 54 agi. So what have we done in there to get our 30 agi bonus? A 20 agi, 20 crit gem, okay? As we said, crit slightly better than mastery. We don't want haste. So we're going to stick a 20 agi, 20 crit gem in there. Get our 30 agility bonus and we're laughing all the way to the bank, boys. Let's look at our talents very quickly. I want to get into the heroic. It's going to be a ZA ZG. I'll probably skip a little bit in there because it's a very generally longer runs than normal heroics, but we'll see how we get on. What's our talents? Improve Serpent Sting. You're going to be keeping Serpent Sting on your target all the time, 100% of the time, okay? So you've got to be firing it off. Increases the critical strike chance of your ticking Serpent String by 10%. So considering it's on all the time, we want that dot to crit. Pathing, ranged haste by 3%. Very important that you take that, because that's going to make you getting your haste off your gear even easier, and that way you're getting more crit, more mastery, much more damage from that. So it's a nice, easy talent to take. If you want, eventually, if you're higher level gear and you've got so much haste you can't get rid of it, you can consider dropping a point out of there. But all you're going to gain is a bit of stamina. Nothing to be too bothered about gaining. That is going to make our life so much easier for our reforging. Trap Mastery increases the damage of our traps. As a survival hunter, traps are very, very important to us. We'll get that down further in the tree. Our two main traps we're going to be using is our freezing trap, our frost trap to keep all the mobs together for the tank, makes it life so much easier, and our explosive trap, which is going to be doing tons of damage and loads of AoE, which we like in heroics, don't we? We've picked up entrapment, keeps everything solid, and when we've placed our ice trap down, loads, it's going to freeze them all down there. Absolutely happy. Tank's going to be loving you because you kept all the mobs nice together while you're nuking away quite merrily. Move down into lock and load. This is very important. We're going to get a buff called TNT from this. We have a 100% chance when we drop the freezing trap to cause our explosive shot to be free. Okay, so we're going to be preparing for this in our mind because it's a 100% chance. So when we drop this, we know we're going to get a TNT proc, okay? It's going to give us free explosive shots. The issue there is we tend to cap focus. Who cares? We're getting 2 free explosive shots. It's not worth crying about. Thrill of the Hunt. We gain some focus back after we fire these spells off. 3 focus, more DPS, happy. Resourcefulness makes everything a little bit, reduces the cooldown. We want to fire these spells off, these hard-hitting spells, as much as possible, so reducing the cooldown is always good. And our TNT means we get the same proc as we did from lock and load, from our black arrow and our explosive trap, okay? Toxicology, because like we said before, we've got this serpent sting ticking all the time, so it's going to increase the damage of it, dead easy. We have to take wyvern sting to get our next 2 points. It's another CC, not a DPS increase by any means, but it's still there. Noxious stings. Increase the damage done by targets affected with serpent sting. So what did we say? We've got serpent stings on all the time anyway, so we've just given ourselves a nice damage buff. Hunting party boosts our agility. So what did we say? Agility is awesome, so we need it, and also going to give us another 10% attack speed for all the party members as well. Serpent spread, we only take 1 out of 2 in there. Our multi-shot, this is where our AoE really comes into its own. Our multi-shot is going to give us serpent sting on everything, and we've buffed serpent sting all the way back down the talent tree. So we only take 1 out of 2 there because multi-shot is very cheap, so we're going to be refreshing it constantly anyway, so we don't need 2 out of 2 in there, okay guys? Sniper training, as I said earlier, as soon as we stood still, we're going to gain that 6% damage buff to our Cobra shot. It also increases the crit chance of our kill shot by 15%, our execute ability. When we get down to that low 20% health on the boss, we're going to get our kill shot, and we're going to be firing it off, happy days. And our final super hit is Black Arrow. A nice extra dot that we put on that also procs TNT, as we've looked at earlier. It's going to give us free explosive shots. So when we know, when we fire off our Black Arrow, that pretty soon we're going to get a TNT proc. So what do we want to do? We want to get our focus down as low as possible because we're going to have 3 shots coming. Then we moved over into Marksman. Reduce the focus cost. If it's cheaper, we can do it more. This all lines up with the haste I was talking about before. This all works together to make sure that just 3 Cobra shots and the fact that the cost is reduced is going to give us constant DPS. We've then started to buff our pet a little bit. We are a hunter. Our pet is constantly doing damage, so we need to make sure our pet is happy days. So we've got Go for the Throat. Our crit chances are going to cause our pet to gain more focus, the same as you. Their abilities use energy. And Sicken, when we crit, it reduces the focus cost by 100%, so the pet's going to get a free attack as well, and that means you can do another attack straight after. Really, really good, okay? We've then gone into Beast Mastery and make sure our pet focus regeneration is increased by 30%, so our pet is doing more damage. Our pet is just going to go happy. You've got to look after your pet. We've got our pet Cheeky Paws, who's the cat pet, who's going to give us the agi bonus. As you guys might have noticed, when you cap, you haven't got a full stable of pets ready. I chose this guy when I was leveling because 1, my girlfriend named him, so I had to keep him, didn't I, in case when she came looking. And the other is it gave me an agi bonus while I was leveling, and we love agility. Agility is great for us, so we've got this. I took this pet. Let's have a quick look at pet talents. This is the highest DPS pet spec you can get. It's a ferocity pet. Increase our pet's attack speed. Fine, just attacking faster. Dash gets to the targets quicker. Same as what we said on our other classes where we get the speed bonus. If your pet gets to the target quicker, he starts doing damage earlier. It's a passive DPS increase, okay? Bloodthirsty, we only take 1 out of 2 out of there. That's just going to make sure that his happiness and his health is fine all the time. Every time he's attacking, he's constantly regenerating his health, lets us look after him less and focus on our own skills. Spike Collar, increase the damage of his basic attacks that he's doing every second or so. Nice DPS increase. Culling the Herd, every time he crits, he gets 3% increased damage for 10 seconds. He's going to crit a lot because his crit is based off arc